Ready? Nope. Okay. Deep breath in, maybe. Dear Sojo family, today we need to share an announcement about the future of this beautiful community that we've created here in San Diego and around the world called Sojourn Grace Collective. This news is really hard for us to share, and it will be hard for many to hear. Close that window.
But just like we've always tried to do here at Sojourn, let's try to read through tears. We commit to showing up authentically and leading with vulnerability. And we commit to holding space for however you need to respond.
Come on there, yes, that's fine.
Your feelings matter to us greatly, and your experience is real, and it all belongs. It all belongs. As the coronavirus made its way to the States in March of 2020, I'm just gonna have to cry read of it. I can't do anything else. When the leadership of Sojourn made the call to not gather in person, but instead live stream a virtual church service, we all assumed it would just be a couple of weeks. Remember that? How cute that was?
Yes.
When one board member at the time talked about worst case scenarios being several months of impact, we all sort of rolled our eyes like, several months? How is that possible? There's no way it could be that long. You call it chicken littling, and I don't even know what that means somehow. But of course, we can all look back now and see just how wrong we all were about how significantly and for how long the pandemic would affect our lives.
Like all churches did, Sojourn saw a significant decline in church attendance during the pandemic. It was clear that most of the people that we served before the pandemic were not necessarily suited for a kind of virtual option. Furthermore, the economic impact of the pandemic caused everyone to reassess their financial situations, which led to then a not insignificant decrease in monthly giving here at Sojourn. In fact, the truth is, were it not for 2 rounds of the government PPP loan or grant the last couple of years, then Sojourn would have ceased operations probably a year ago. However, it turned out that because of the PPP loans, and then also due to some growth from creating this dynamic, high-quality live stream virtual church, plus a decrease in expenses, mostly like not having to pay rent for a facility, this did allow Sojourn to stabilize for 2020 and 2021.
Last fall, when the world started opening up again, Sojourn played it cautiously, but we also made values-based decisions, which has always been our MO. And it meant that we would not return to in-person services until it was possible for all in our community. Remember how excited we were to have like a big reunion for the things we all dreamed about, huh? And we followed the guidelines for such gatherings as laid out by the county. We learned a lot during those 4 months at the end of 2021 when we tried to offer in-person services again while maintaining our live stream virtual service. 2 of the main takeaways were, one, that as a mobile, portable church, it's still a massive undertaking to set up and tear down every Sunday, and we greatly struggled to find the help and volunteer base needed for such an effort. And 2, attendance at Sojo was drastically lower than before COVID, and there was just no denying the massive impact of COVID-19 on our church.
Then fast forward to this most recent summer, and we tried yet again to resume in-person services. And even though we did our best to alleviate some of the pinch points from the previous fall's attempt, after just a month in July of doing services, Kate and I, we had to be honest about the situation, which is this. COVID-19 effectively ended the version of Sojourn that started in 2014 in our living room.
Do you want to read your last line? Oh, you're okay.
And while our virtual services have created a gorgeous community these past 2.5 years, the truth is that trying to become an in-person church again essentially would be like starting over.
And at that point, we had to have the honest conversations with each other, us two. As the only employees at Sojo, as pastors of this church, we had to be honest with each other that we simply didn't have it in us to do this all over again. The effort and work it would require to get Sojourn back to a sustainable and growing organization was simply beyond what we have capacity for in our lives right now.
Upon reaching this conclusion with one another, we paused our in-person gatherings and we went back to just virtual. But we then had to share with the board where we were at. And that occurred during our board meeting in August. They listened to us as we shared our experiences and our perspectives, both about the state of Sojourn, as well as our current capacity as co-pastors. After thoughtful discussion and insightful questions, there was agreement that even though Sojourn was always designed to outlast the Martins as founding co-pastors, the global pandemic altered that plan dramatically.
After thorough consideration, the board concluded that the only viable option was to wind down the organization. Therefore, we put it to a vote, and the motion to dissolve Sojourn Grace Collective passed with 5 yeas and 1 nay. The announcement is hard, and it brings up a lot of emotion. It's funny reading that on the script while you're voting.
Oh, does it?
We honor the sadness for those who found their people, found community, found home at Sojourn. And we understand that the closure is cause for mourning.
We honor the disappointment for those who believe in our mission with their whole heart. And for those who've given themselves to partnering with us toward creating this community of radical love and inclusion. We understand the disappointment in this news. But we also want to make sure that we honor other kinds of emotions as well. Kate and I have talked a lot over the years about how common it is in our culture to associate endings as a kind of failure. Yes, sure, there is a version of the Sojourn story where you might say that we didn't succeed or that because we closed down, our church failed.
But we strongly feel that endings do not have to be bad. Endings need not be greeted with resistance or a sense of failure. We've always taught at Sojourn about the cyclical rhythm of life, birth, death, and rebirth, and nothing lasts forever. All things are impermanent. These are lessons that we've learned together for 8 years.
In fact, our very name was chosen because the word sojourn means a short and temporary stay. We always knew that the spiritual life is about movement and growth and transformation. It's not about reaching some kind of end destination and then staying there forever. I don't know, maybe the fact that Sojourn's sojourn has come to its end might be the most natural thing I can think of.
Over the past 8.5 years, we've held space for hundreds, maybe thousands of individuals who've wondered if they'd ever know the love of God or the love of community again. We've been a place for broken hearts to find healing and for scarred people to find wholeness, for hurting people to find hope.
We've served communion to those who never believed that they could be worthy of such gifts of grace. We've celebrated the beauty of all people as beloved children of God. And as we sit here today and look back over the past 8.5 years, we do so with pride in our hearts. For we cannot believe all the beauty and all the sacredness and all the life that has grown as a result of this incredible community.
And we want to say to all of you, both past and present Sojourners, a sincere thank you. We hold in our hearts a deep well of gratitude for those all along the way. Those who volunteered countless hours with kiddos or on the music team or for our Thanksgiving meals. For those who served with kindness and hospitality, who opened their homes for small groups, who put on special events to foster community.
For those who believed in the vision of Sojourn and showed up regularly to make it so. And for those who supported our church financially and gave offerings both big and small to ensure that our church could continue to be a place of belonging and healing and hope.
The plan that the leadership team came up with was to close down operations at the end of October. So we'll be continuing providing Sunday morning virtual services between now and then, with Sunday, October 30th being our final gathering. And we really hope you continue to join us to say goodbye to this thing. Furthermore, it's very important to us that those who still want or need community after Sojourn closes will have help to do so. So we'll be collecting a list of churches and communities that we believe would be safe and Sojo-esque, as well as resources to help you continue your journey of faith. If you ever have any questions about any of this, please feel free to email us at info@sojourngrace.com.
Thank you for making these last 8.5 years some of the most enjoyable and meaningful years of my life and of our lives. It's been a joy and an honor to serve you as your pastors.
We end our announcement today by reading what we've posted on our website since the very beginning. It's our What We Believe statement as a church on the website. And it's all about what we believe about you. At Sojourn Grace Collective, we believe that you are valuable and enough. You are the powerful creator of your own life. You have good reason to be skeptical. You are not alone. You are worthy. You are spirit. You are an artist. You belong and you have something to say. You have been hurt in life and you have good questions. You are beautiful, loved, and have what it takes. You have a purpose and your opinion matters. You are trustworthy and have something to teach. And we believe that this is true for all gender identities, sexual orientations, religious affiliations, ethnic backgrounds, and socioeconomic statuses.
If you have breath, then you belong. We believe you are a beloved child of God, just as you are, full stop.